Have you been thinking of making a move and downsizing? Well, we have a wonderful couple here that we're going to talk about their journey in downsizing from a larger house down to an apartment. What was it like? The good, the bad? Well, we're going to find out right after this. Hello, everybody. My name is Jared Chamberlain, and we are here in our offices, in our studios today, and we have a wonderful couple that is joining me, and they're going to talk about their journey in downsizing. So they made a big change from going in a house that they've lived in for, how many years was it?
We were 15 years at that house.
15 years. Okay. So they're in their house for 15 years, making a big change. That's a lot of Facebook marketing sales. We'll get into that later. But we're going to hear their story, ask some questions. And as you're watching this, if you have comments or questions, even if they can't see it, we will see it. We will comment. We will help you. We'll figure this out. Put your comments in below, even just to say hi if you recognize them. I don't know if you will or won't, but maybe you will. Either way, let's reach out. Let's have conversations about this. So, Dawn and Joe, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
Yeah, this is very exciting. I'm glad that you guys are here. You guys made a pretty big change in this last little bit, hey?
A very big change.
Yeah. Well, tell us about it. What was it like? What did you do?
We moved from our home,
Yeah.
a 2,800 square foot bungalow,
Okay.
down to an apartment-sized condo.
And that's a big bungalow.
Well, that's 2 floors.
2 floors.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, including
Okay,
the
in
downstairs.
2 levels. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, but still 2 levels, 2,800 square feet. That's a lot of space
Yes.
for the two of you. So what kind of brought this on? Going, wait a minute, we got to make a change here. What triggered that for you guys?
I think the actual trigger was being basically stuck on our home during the pandemic.
Right.
And, for a whole winter. And basically we lived in 700 square feet of this big bungalow.
So it was kind of like a test.
The family room, the kitchen, the bedroom,
Yeah.
and the garage. And
Crazy.
that was it. So when that was over, you look around and say, why, what do we need all this room for?
Yeah.
You know, and we're getting to the age where shoveling snow and
Yep.
the yard work, which I like, but
Yeah. Yeah.
had enough of.
Had enough of. So who's got the green thumb between you guys?
I think we both do.
Yeah.
Joe does the heavy part of the gardening,
Okay.
but I do the other part, the pots and that sort of thing.
So I think this is probably something that a lot of people, when they're making this change or considering it, are really afraid that they're going to miss this, or that it's like, I don't want to use the word taken away from them, but you'll understand that more than I do. But do you miss that? Do you?
You know, I thought I would. We've been gardeners for 25 years.
Yeah.
And really enjoyed our yard, spent a lot of time in the backyard.
Yeah.
So I thought I would really miss it. But after COVID, when we got to go back out on our deck, but we still couldn't have people over, it was just like, so why do we have all of this? What are we doing?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So you don't miss it that much.
We moved into the condo in July
Yeah.
and had a nice flower pot out on the balcony and our chairs, and I was very happy.
And it's the nicest looking flower pot anyone has ever seen.
Exactly. If it's only one, it can be the best.
That's right. And you can actually make it bigger too.
Yeah. I mean, if anything, I miss, and it's strange to say, I miss doing the lawn,
That's fair.
cutting lawn. I mean, that was my Zen experience or whatever. But
I mean, I can give you my address if you
yeah,
want to
no,
come.
that's all right. I didn't miss it that much.
Oh, not that
my
much.
lawn,
Okay.
I said.
Oh, your lawn. Oh, okay. Well, you know, we can work something out.
But no, I mean, really, if we want to be in the greenery, we can go to a park or we go
That's
to our kid's house.
Yeah. So I guess that kind of leads into, what did you guys look for? So when you were making this change, we're going to kind of jump around and stuff, but in topics here. But what was it that you were looking for when you were making a change? Were you set on moving into, because you guys are in a condo, were you set on that condo, or were you trying to like find something else that could work, or was it the condo you were really going after?
I think when we discussed it, first you look at your parameters, your price point. So we looked at, okay, what do we want to spend?
Yeah.
What do we want to do with the rest of our money and our time?
Yeah.
So we worked out a budget.
Yeah.
And then we knew it had to have lots of light
Yeah.
because of the house we were coming from. We knew we wanted a community with amenities.
Yeah.
We had previously lived in a subdivision where you had to drive to the store.
Right.
And
Which is like a lot of suburbs in Calgary.
suburbia.
So most places, for sure.
So I think we were looking for a total change
Yeah.
and more
absolutely.
activity.
You know, we looked inner city,
Yeah.
we looked mid city. When I was a kid, it was outer city, but mid city, and we found a neighborhood in Mahogany where you've got an urban environment in a suburban
Absolutely.
setting,
Yeah.
and we thought that's what we're looking for at the price point we're looking for.
And there's a really interesting trend that has been happening in Calgary is all of this inner city feel of like really great little restaurants and coffee shops and even like shopping too, right? There's Mahogany is one of those places that has been embraced it and also all of a sudden taken it on, and they've moving those places out of the core and down there, right?
Well, and I think because that's what people are looking for, and certainly
Absolutely.
city planners are
Yeah.
basically enforcing the issue.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. And even if you look at like Sage Hill up north, so Sage Hill is they're building that out. Seton and Mahogany, University City
Yes.
on the west, like all of these different pockets are starting to really turn into that. Yeah.
And then also the bonus with Mahogany is it had a lake,
Yes.
nice beach area, nice walking paths, biking paths.
Yeah.
And our grandchildren are growing up. And the beach, we thought, would entice them to come over more often, maybe.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know?
No, it's true.
And so-
yeah.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, like, if for those of you that are watching, if we're going to put a card up here so you can click through, and we did a video on all of the beach communities and just talking about, what is community life like living in a lake community. And so if you're interested in that, feel free, but we'll put that in there for you guys. So, yeah,
Sure.
but you're loving it.
Loving it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get sunburns this summer and like full on tan lines?
Not quite, but it's the hustle and bustle, the activity of kids around and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's
energy.
yeah,
It's like good
It's
energy.
totally. It's
Exactly.
energy. You're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So I guess part of I have a couple of thought patterns here, but the one that I'm thinking of is how do you actually make a move, like physically move from a house of that size, a bungalow, into, because how big is the condo now?
Oh gosh.
1,100 square feet.
Yeah.
About 1,100. Okay, so about half, let's just say.
About
Yeah,
half.
half.
So about half. How do you move from and downsize that much? And how did you physically make that transition? It's a big question.
It's a big
but-
question. We walked through the house a lot and through the basement.
Yep.
And okay, so you have to decide what you're definitely going to get rid of it or
Yeah.
give away or don't have to take with you.
And I guess part of the question too then, did you guys buy your condo first and then sell? Or did you sell the house and then find the condo?
We did our research first, so we looked
Okay.
around, and because obviously if there was nothing out there, we weren't going to move. We were quite
Right.
happy where we were.
Absolutely, yeah.
We looked around, and there was something available that we liked,
Yeah.
and so
Okay.
that
I think
created
that's
the
really
choice.
important. Yeah.
I do too.
Go out looking first. Have an idea in mind, because until that point, I'm not really sure that I was as committed maybe as Joe to make the move.
Yes.
And then when we found something that I was like, wow, I really like this,
Yeah.
then that puts the wheels in motion.
Well, buyers always buy emotionally. And if you don't have, and again, you guys, one of you will be much more analytical than the other. My wife and I are the same. and one is typically moves towards something of pleasure. Let's use it like happiness, excitement, whatever. The other one will move away from pain. And so, oh, you see the faces there, right? Come on. and so something painful in life, some people will move away from it, and some people will move towards something pleasurable, right? And typically it's one or the other. And so for the person they might not be motivated by the pain of the current situation they're in. They might need something to entice them to move into something. And so, like you're saying, now all of a sudden you're looking at something and you're going, oh, wait a minute, I think this could actually work.
I can see myself there.
That's exactly what I said.
In our family life, we bought a place to raise the kids. Spent 25, 26 years there raising the kids, became empty nesters. Decided we don't need
an empty nester's bungalow.
So we went and bought an empty nester's bungalow. And we walked to that bungalow and right away said, yeah, this is the one. This is where we belong. That was 14 years ago, 15 years ago now. And so the same looking around for a condo. You walked in, you said, no, some of you walk in and say, no, I couldn't live here. Very nice, but there's no way
we did. Until we found the one.
The right one. Because it's a feeling.
It is, totally.
Yeah.
And the first few we looked at, I was like, no, this isn't going to work. And then when we did find the one that we really liked, I just liked it. I knew I belonged there. Joe was the one who had to go back a couple of times and measure and check and do. And then we also, as a couple, went back to the neighborhood a couple of evenings and one Saturday to check it out.
Totally, to get a feel, like what is happening in that community, right?
And we sat at the little restaurant kitty corner and had a pizza and a beer and thought, okay, this could work.
And what's funny is, I mean, we just moved ourselves actually, like in the last month. And
oh gosh.
Exactly. Oh gosh.
With kids.
With kids. But the funny thing is, there's always something, and it doesn't happen typically with the agent. Because obviously we did it ourselves. But you weren't with your agent, who, by the way, was Aaron DuPont. Yes. Fantastic. So excellent. We'll definitely circle back to that. But for us, we were driving down the street and one of the neighbors was outside and we were like, is this the right house? Whatever. And he started telling us stories about the neighbors, what they do in this cul-de-sac and all this stuff. And I was already in, but Rebecca wasn't. And then she at that point was like, sold.
See, so
there's always that moment.
So they told you good things about the neighbors.
Totally, absolutely, yeah. And he's lived there for 50 years, raised his family, and it's just like, wow, okay, I think this is what we want, right? And same thing for you, sitting in that corner cafe or pizza place, sitting there and enjoying the pizza. It was like, I can see myself doing this.
It was.
Yeah.
It makes the decision a lot easier.
It does, because again,
you get the path.
That emotionally buy into something where we analytically say, okay, let's do it. How do we do this now, right? So now, how did you do it? So what was some of the process and the steps that you had to go through to be able to actually physically downsize, get rid of stuff, choose what stuff, and then move over? What was that like?
Well, first we made the decisions of what we were willing to get rid of.
Right.
Okay. And so then you asked your kids, your family, your friends.
Yeah.
And what they don't want, then Joe decided, well, we have to, some of it has to go to Goodwill, some has to go to the women's shelter, some of it's so good that we should sell it.
Yeah.
And he took over and made lists and got on Facebook and take it from there. You did all of that.
I was a Facebook king, yes.
So Joe is going to have a side hustle here with Facebook Marketplace. So anyone who's ready, just this is your masterclass.
I sold tools, furniture.
Oh yeah,
just 142 different items.
Grandchildren's toys.
Going back of gathering for 30 years, stuff that was gathered for 30 years, and I made $7,000. So that basically paid for the move.
Yeah, or it's going to pay for a lot more pizza at that pizza place.
Well, that too, but it certainly
I was
saved
calculating.
me. My first thought was everything just goes to the dump, but things have value.
They do. And it's easy to just disassociate yourself with stuff and just get rid of it quickly without trying. Right? I'm very easy to go, I'm out. Or my wife will be like, no, let's try to sell it or do something. And it's like, I don't want the work. Let's just move on.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We each had an office in our house. So we had,
crazy.
desks,
the
whole bit furnished. And so I guess because of COVID, a lot of people were working at home. We were absolutely shocked right away when the desks went within 5 minutes.
No, it's so fast.
Yeah.
So what were some things, because you mentioned something before that you wish you got rid of more stuff. So I'm curious, like, what did you mean by that?
Well, the moving company picks up all the stuff and they take it over to the new apartment and you meet them there and you say, okay, put that over there, put that over there.
Yep.
Very first day, we took our dining table, or not our dining table,
dinette
our kitchen,
from the kitchen.
dinette,
Okay,
kitchen table,
Yeah.
4 chairs, big 4-foot wide glass table.
Yeah.
It did not fit.
Oh no.
There's no way it was going to fit. Luckily, we phoned my wife's sister. She came over with her son, and it was gone 5 hours after it was moved in.
Another $100
Moved in
later.
at 3
A lot of miles
o'clock.
on that table, but I mean, those are the kind of things you run into. You think everything will
Absolutely.
fit, this works, you draw it out,
Yeah.
you get it there, and
Just doesn't
Yeah.
fit.
it doesn't fit.
So what items, just generally speaking, because what would you have gotten rid of that you didn't, that you kind of would suggest for other people to actually second guess themselves like you did?
Had we listened to our realtor, Aaron, who said our house furniture was bigger than condo furniture.
It's true.
And that didn't click with me at first.
Yeah.
And I was really attached to 2 sofas
Yeah.
and 4 chairs that had to come.
Yeah.
Well, now the 4 chairs are down to 2,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
one of the sofas went and we got a brand new sofa.
Yeah.
So you have to play around with it a little bit.
You do.
But take the things that mean the most to you, but you really do have to downsize.
Yeah.
You can't take the whole house.
No.
There is nowhere to put it.
So what kind of freedom, or what was it that you were looking for in making this downsizing transition? Whatever that was, have you found it?
I think I
Okay.
have. How do you feel?
Well, you go ahead. I'm
Yeah, okay.
interested in your answer.
Oh, okay. I think I have. We certainly got rid of a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have a big house to clean anymore. Life is easier.
Yeah.
Lock the door and go.
Yeah.
Park in the parkade.
Yeah.
If I want to go out, which I couldn't in my other subdivision, go out and just walk to a coffee shop. They were
Right.
too far away.
Yeah.
Well, now I can just walk outside. Lots of amenities.
Yeah.
So that's made me very comfortable and happier.
Cool. Nice.
Yeah.
And Joe?
I'm happy, very happy with the way things have worked out.
Yeah.
Certainly it's a change in lifestyle, but it's a positive one for us at this stage.
That's
for
good.
me at this stage.
Well, that's good. So one question that I think a lot of people, you said a lot of friends have asked you, is it noisy living in an apartment? So what is that life like? Because for your demographic, condos, apartments were always like a 3-story walk up, gross, nasty thing, right? And now that's totally different with the type of condos that are out there. And so thinking of moving into that is like mind blowing for some.
Yes.
And so you probably get like, you moved where?
I know.
Kinda looks.
We do.
Yeah.
And I was one person who always said I would never
Right.
live in an apartment condo.
Yeah.
And here I am.
And so what is that like? Is it noisy? Is it feel like there's people always
Ours
around you?
is a new condo.
Okay.
So we're the first people in our unit.
Brand new.
Brand new.
Very
Yes.
well built.
Okay.
They've done a super job of.
Yeah.
Well, I think construction nowadays is
Yeah.
that much
Better.
better.
It is. It really
but
is. Yeah.
we don't hear our neighbors.
Yeah.
Now they're an older couple, so
Whatever that means.
whatever that means. But we've been very happy. You can't hear the people below us. You can't hear the people above us.
Nice.
And
The hallways
you know,
are quiet. I've
Yeah.
never seen anybody in our hallway.
Interesting.
and we're both wondering how, we take the elevator up to the 3rd floor when we come in or
Yeah.
from the parkade. And only once has there ever been anybody else in the elevator with us.
Crazy.
So it's like, I know the buildings has 2 units left that haven't sold,
Oh, wow.
but the rest of the people
Yeah.
are there and it's just fine.
It's empty. Yeah.
So I'm pleasantly surprised about
Which is
that.
nice.
Yeah.
And there's a mix of demographics in the building. There's a few families, couples our ages, but also, millennials and whatever
Other ones
Yeah.
are there.
Yeah.
So it's a good mix,
Yeah.
but no partiers.
No, so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that, like I said before, that brings energy, right? Like it's moving from some place that felt isolated, too much work. And it's not like you're on an acreage. You're just in a house, right? Down into something that, okay, there's positive energy. You feel good. There's things you can walk to. You can just, even if you want to I'm going to go for a little bike ride, and it's easy. It's simple. You don't have to try to work hard to make it happen.
No.
And it's just easier, right? So would you do it again?
The move?
Yeah.
Yes, I would. From experience, we'd improve on a few things.
Okay.
Okay. If we ever did this again. Okay, so first going
First
into
off,
it.
at my age, I'm not doing it again.
You're done.
That's straight.
You're done. You're
I'm
done.
done.
Hey, when we moved in here, we went in with the idea of, okay, it's a huge move for us. We'll get in there. You're not trapped. If you don't like it or for some reason it just doesn't fit,
Yeah.
my attitude was, well, we'll sell it and move again.
Right.
I mean, we're retired. We have lots of time.
Right. Yeah.
So we could deal with that, right? But
We have a lot less to move.
yes, a lot less to move. That's the one thing. I think going into it again, I probably would have sold everything.
Right.
I really would have. And I was excited to decorate and get new things for this new place.
Yeah.
So we did that about 50% after we got settled.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was interviewing a couple who moved here from Toronto, and they did that. They actually, because their company wasn't moving them, and they said, you know what, let's just sell everything. We only kept, honestly, they were like, we had 8 boxes that we shipped, and we put our car on a train, and we came out here, and that's it. And they bought a, I don't know, 2,900 square foot 2-story house. So it's like
Start all over.
complete change and just start over, right? And sometimes a change like that is okay. I mean, there's certain things that are good that you want to keep. There's memorable things and whatever. Yeah. But a lot of those big pieces of furniture can be swapped out because there's some really great options out there now, right?
Well, they look great. You've decorated this house.
For that house.
For that house.
Yeah.
Now I want it to decorate the condo for the condo space.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else that you guys want to share for anyone else that is watching or has stuck with us this long that is just a jewel of advice that you would want to give that we haven't talked about? It doesn't have to be.
I would just say check out the neighborhood, have a destination in mind, an area, and probably a property in mind that you want to move to.
Yeah.
And get a good realtor.
And get a good realtor.
Absolutely. So talk about Erin. How was Erin to work with?
Fantastic.
Yeah?
Very good.
Very good.
Very good.
Very
She, I had previously always dealt for my mortgage through my bank.
Oh,
So
interesting.
I dealt with my bank this time around.
Yeah.
And it's hard to talk to anybody in
It is.
that business now.
Yeah.
And it didn't go well.
Interesting. Yeah.
Erin put us in touch with a mortgage broker, and
Yeah.
we got a much better deal
Yeah.
and much better service.
Yeah. Do you remember who you
we
worked
did-
with? Was it Lindsay?
Lindsay.
Lindsay? Okay, Lindsay
yes.
Lebrecht. Yeah.
Lindsay was great.
Yeah.
We didn't need much of a mortgage, but we just wanted to step over there.
Yeah.
And that made a big difference. Dealing with her rather than
And the
we
banks,
were with,
yeah.
I don't know if I can even say the bank's name, but
They're not watching.
it wasn't, the Royal Bank was just not good.
Yeah.
And then, so that part was really good. The other part was, and it's hard to do. Erin walked through our house
Yeah.
and told us prior to listing.
Yeah.
Okay, I was in love with the dark brown carpet,
Okay.
the area rug, and we didn't see anything wrong with it. It
Yeah.
worked great with our
Yeah.
furniture, and she was like, "Nope, we have to lighten this up. Chocolate brown is not."
Yeah.
So she helped us out there, and
Nice.
by the time we had the house all ready to go and list it, we got competing offers in the same day.
I know.
So
heard.
it was crazy. It was just crazy.
It is so good.
Yeah,
That is
we were
awesome.
blown away.
competing offers above ask.
Above
Better.
list. And so it was just a whirlwind.
Yeah.
So the house was staged. It looked great.
Yeah.
Showed great. And also, I think there are a lot of people that were in our situation 14 years ago, empty nesters that
Yes.
are looking to go to a bungalow.
Exactly.
And we had 7 buyers by 10 in the morning.
Yeah.
Sorry, 7 people looking at it.
Looking
by
at
10
it,
in the-
booking
Showings.
showings.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And the other thing, too, was the whole package. I mean, the photography.
Yep.
The pictures looked great online. I mean, we even had neighbors come up to us and say, who hadn't been in our house, wow, I saw your place online. It looked
That's right.
great.
They're snooping.
They're all looking, right?
They are.
Yeah. And then we were able to say to them, and it's sold today and it's sold over list.
Crazy.
So done.
Crazy. And that's interesting you said that someone who was like you bought your old house
Exactly.
because
It's the stage.
it's a stage of life and houses are built for stages. And so that is honestly, if you are making this move, think of who you were when you bought your place. That's who you need your agent to target your house to.
That's right.
it. Like that is like the secret jewel of selling houses. Like I kid you not. It's just making it appeal to that group, right? So
They were empty nesters, 12 years younger than us.
exactly.
And
Oh, that's who
they
bought. It was
wanted-
that.
That's who wanted our
Yeah,
house.
that's hilarious.
It is.
It doesn't fail.
Yeah.
Like that is literally the secret right
That's
there to
the
selling a
litmus
house.
test.
Well, this has been great. So I thank you so much both for taking time and coming in and sharing your knowledge. And for those of you that are watching or have watched, if you have any other questions or comments, feel free to drop them in the comments. We'll see them. We'll respond. And even if you have messages for them that you want them to answer, absolutely put them in there. And I'll make sure that you guys get those questions if there are any. So that's what we have. So thank you again.
You're
if
welcome.
you're thinking
You're
of
welcome.
making that downsizing move, it's not as scary as you think. You
Don't
can do
be
it.
afraid to do it.
Don't be afraid to do it. That's right. And it's actually better to do it sooner than later. The
It is.
first time you start thinking about it is when you probably should start getting ready to pull the trigger. Because you might kick yourself in 5 years and you're like, I wish I should have done that, right? One of my mentors said to me years ago, you should never should all over yourself.
That's right.
And that's how we'll end that video today. So don't shut all over yourself and make that move. All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching. Thank you both for coming.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome,
And
Jared.
we're going
Thank
to call
you.
it a day. Thanks everybody.